Welcome to Genuine Nonsense. I'm Kelly MacFarland. I just noticed that I'm wearing the same shirt as I am in one of those vignettes, I guess is what you would call them, vignettes from the intro, which was done by my fabulous producer, Matt Fear. Welcome to Genuine Nonsense. This is the week. We are in episode 3. I'm very excited if you're joining us for the first time. This is a show where I'm just having some friends on. I'm talking to friends. I'm meeting new friends. And we're trying to leave you feeling good to set the rest of your week off right. So this week, we have wonderful Bethany Van Delft joining us in just a few moments, and we'll talk about everything that she's working on right now. Before we do that, though, I wanted to share with you all that I actually was at a friend's house prior to quarantine, and they brought a bin up from their basement, and it said my name on it, Kelly Mac, which is a nickname that I've had my entire life. And it said things I can't let go of. And there were so many things in this box that I am a little embarrassed about, slightly embarrassed about. 500 black and white headshots from 1999. Some things from college, some incriminating photos, which I will not share. Some odds and ends of like magazine articles of things that I thought were very important that I couldn't let go of. And then I'm going to share 2 things that were in this bin that I could not let go of. Now we're talking, this bin must have gone into my friend's basement probably, we'll call it 20 years ago. I mean, maybe more than that. We'll just say 20 years to feel good, but probably more than that. So one of the things that was in this bin, and I'm going to show it to you right now, and it's a little bit of a theme that I'm going to run with my guests tonight. What are things you can't let go of, right? And I feel like it's timely. It's going with our world right now. Your old ways of thinking, you got to let go of those, right? If you've got old ways of thinking, wake the fuck up and let's start some new ways of thinking. So one of the things that was in this bin marked Kelly Mac, things I can't let go of, was, of course, a lamb chop puppet. Now, this is a lamb chop puppet. Now, some of you are probably not even old enough to remember who this is. Now, lamb chop was a puppet that was voiced by a woman, Sherry, and Lamb Chop was very cute. And apparently, thank you, Sherry Lewis, producer Matt, thank you. And Sherry Lewis voiced Lamb Chop. And apparently, I don't even remember getting this. However, it was super important to me that I had her and that I kept her. So this was in things I can't let go of. And clearly I still have it, so I'm not letting go of it. And then the other thing that I thought was really, really interesting, and this is, I want to emphasize that we let go of things all the time that we don't think are important. And then there are things that we just hold on to for sentimental reason, because of a time in our lives when we felt good, or sometimes it's a time in our lives when we didn't feel good and we want to remember that so we don't revisit. This next thing, and I thought it was so interesting when I was thinking of how I wanted to open the show this week. This goes with my guest, because my guest is a baker in her spare time, really. 2 kids, several television shows, a full comedy career, and she, I don't know, just has time to bake. Just with her spare time, she's baking. This is the Better Homes Club Plan, Cambridge, Massachusetts. This was my great-grandmother's, and it's a cookie press, like an old school cookie press. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, why do I even have this? Like, did I steal? Where did I take this from? So, of course, I called my mother, and my mother informed me that I insisted on taking that when my great-grandmother passed away, because it reminded me of being a little girl and watching her cook and bake. And my mother's side is French-American, Franco-American, Canadian. And so I think I just wanted to hold that piece with me all the time. I would love to gift this cookie press to my first guest, my friend, first and foremost, above all. I'm doing a little technical adjustment here. My eyes are very dry because of allergies, and so I have to wear my glasses. Well, I need them anyway because I wouldn't be able to see. I'd be like, and my first guest, so I need them. However, they're giving me a little bit of a glare, so forgive me if I look like I'm crazy town. So my first guest, I'm so excited to have her on the show. She's just, I don't even know what to say. She is everything she does. This is what I want to say about her. And if I know her like I think I do, she is embarrassed right now and she hasn't even arrived. Everything she does is wonderful. Like, she's one of those people that just everything she does, she spins it and turns it and creates it and sculpts it into something that's wonderful. She's an award-winning comedian, Best of Boston. I think this is 2 years in a row. She has a wonderful comedy show called Artisanal Comedy that was live, obviously, in the before times in Dorchester, which I've done that show. A lot of comedians have done that show. It's an amazing show. She took it right online first week. It's going great. Her guests and comedians are amazing. She is also doing a new PBS show. And then last week, she just put out that she's doing a new podcast, which I cannot wait to talk to her about. Please welcome Bethany Van Delft. Hi! And then we sat like this for 5 minutes.
My hands are sweaty.
I love gushing over you because you don't handle it well.
Feel true either.
No, it is.
A lot of work, a lot of projects, but wow, you make me sound good on paper. So I'm just going to write all that down, and that will be my affirmation.
Listen, I would venture to say, and I'll put my stamp on this, that I don't know when you sleep. Let's start there.
I don't know.
I mean, you're managing your household, you're managing your business, you have 2 children, you have a wonderful husband and partner, and you also are doing all these new projects. And yes.
Can I say one thing?
I wish you'd say 5 things.
You're amazing. Back at you. Okay. We've been working really hard at this, and you work hard. And I honestly believe, lightning strikes for sure. And you could be like New Kids on the Block and suddenly you just make it out of nowhere. But you stick with it and you work hard, then things happen. So one of the things was wrapped in December.
Okay.
And we didn't know this was all going to happen. And then it just, it didn't launch. It didn't launch in February because yuck, it was starting. And then it didn't launch in March because super yuck and everybody was freaking out. And then it was going to launch in May, but what happened in May? And then they were like, maybe we won't launch it till some other time. But then July was the right time, so they launched it. So it seemed like I was doing all this work, right, in quarantine, but that was wrapped. And then the podcast, that's kind of that's like the crazy, amazing luck thing that us being in lockdown, we got to figure out, what do we do now? We don't perform live anymore. So I don't know. Do we write? Do we draw things? Do we voice things? And a voice audition came up, and I didn't get that. But the people that put me up for it, they were like, somebody's got to use you. You've got this voice. And I was like, sure. I agree. I have a voice, and somebody should use me.
That is correct.
They just kept pitching me to people. And then one project was just a great fit on both sides. And we've been working hard at that. And it's launching tomorrow. That's so exciting. Actually,
so exciting.
Launching 12:01 a.m. Pacific time. So tomorrow-ish. Okay.
So let's take a step back, though. So the first project that you're talking about that you wrapped in December, you're talking about your parenting show.
Yes.
On PBS. Will you tell everybody about that and where they can find it?
So it's called Parental Logic, and it is it's research and science behind parenting with a little bit of humor. And it's myself and co-host Dr. Alok Patel, who is a pediatrician, a medical news journalist, and a news correspondent. And right when we were wrapping the final episode that we shot, Anderson Cooper hit him up and he said, "Hey man, can you come on our show and talk about masks? Like, should we be wearing masks or not?"
Oh man!
Oh my God, Anderson Cooper, could we watch this? Could we watch? And so he is really he's obviously super smart, but he's really fun and funny, and he's like got this reverence for comedy, which is incredible because I have a reverence for doctors that can save our lives. So it was a little bit of a love fest, but also like this just total goofiness all the time, which the Nova people, I know that they booked us for that reason, but I also think that at times they were like, okay, enough Biggie Smalls, let's get to work. But it was fun. And I get the whole, oh my God, and my crew is just like a family, and I want to thank everyone and for coming to work. Like we really did feel that way.
Yeah.
5 of us, but it was really super fun all the time.
That's amazing. Yeah, because you're a badass mom. Can we just say that? Like
again, doesn't feel like it, but is that my Virgo? That's my Virgo coming through. I'm like, I don't know about that. There's so much more I could be doing now.
Well, we're also in Mercury retro something or other. So we're like beating ourselves up right now. Isn't that what's happening? And you know more about that than I do.
Mercury is my ruling planet. Mercury is the ruler of Virgos. So if Mercury is going backwards, poor Virgos, but we're always slightly backwards. But anyway. So Logic you can find on the Nova PBS digital platform, and you can also find it on YouTube.
Nice.
New episodes on YouTube, and then it goes right to the Nova PBS digital platform.
Awesome. And your podcast comes out tomorrow.
The podcast is called The 10 News, and it is 10 minutes of current events and just cool pop culture things for the new generation of curious thinkers, which is kids 8 to 12. Like, how cool is that? A news podcast for kids.
Well, and also it's just timely, right? Like, and one of the things I love about your comedy, besides loving you, obviously I have big love for you as a human, but one of the things I love about your comedy is that you talk about whatever you want to talk about, and you make it accessible, and you make it funny, obviously, and you make it true. Like, you are spitting the truth, and I love that. I think it holds a mirror up to people so that they have to look at themselves, and we need that right now. So thank you for doing you.
Thank you for saying that. That means a real lot. As you know, in this business, it can be tough to be real and to just, get to just be a woman and just get to be a person of color or whatever things we are. Sometimes, we're asked to like buff it down a little bit. And I know there have been jokes that I just insist on performing, and there are plenty of showrunners and producers that support me and know that I'm going to do that, and they don't care. They're fine with it. But then there are other bookers that stop booking me because, I'm too controversial, which I don't think I am. I just think I'm just saying things that we should be thinking about.
Yes.
And in like maybe a more lighthearted way. But how funny is it when all hell broke loose and like 3 or 4 of my jokes that a lot of people do not like were just like right there. That was so weird. It was almost like, because I started doubting those jokes as well. But I'll persevere through sucking. I don't care at all at this point. I'll just keep going till I'm like, maybe it's this word. Maybe it's the comma. Maybe I need a lowercase w when I start that
Maybe joke. I should pause there. Maybe I should. Yeah. I love
it after this joke.
Right.
Maybe I should stop telling it. I'm never going to stop telling it. Maybe
I'm not going to do that anymore. And then I do it 5 times in the weekend, and it bombs all 5 times. And then I'm like, I don't think it was the joke. I think it's they're not getting it. I should take a breath. I got
to try harder to make them get it.
Yeah, maybe if I'm nicer when I say it, they'll like it. You have a wonderful album called I'm Not a Llama, and I don't know why I have to yell it. Probably because in your joke you yell that, so I yell it in my head. It has volume. It has like big, like pew pew.
And
like
you know the true life story behind it, and so that's probably a lot of it. Is I think that it's one way if you hear it just as, you know, who's this person telling this story, but then like you and a few people close to me know when that story happened, when I came back from that weekend from work, and I'm like, and then this guy like reached out to touch me, and I wanted to yell because I'm not just slave, but I was at my friend's job. I was working in his restaurant. I couldn't say that, so I just said I'm not a llama, and you were like, what?
What did you? What did you? So you politely said I'm not a slave. Great. Which is now part of your apparel line, Bethany Van Delft Comedy. It's llama with I don't know what I was going to say. I have no idea where I was going with that. I want you to have shirts so bad. I just do.
Well, it's a llama with
a llama with a line through it.
I wonder if people feel like, because you know, llamas. I didn't notice llamas getting very trendy when we named the album. And then all of a sudden, like the album came out and I'm like, oh, llama, everything. So I just seem like a contrarian. Like, no, you're cool. I'm cooler than llamas. I'm not a llama. Everyone's like, no. What?
That llama thing happened. I mean, gosh, how many years ago now? That was
before Lulu was born.
Yeah,
so like 10-ish, like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, I know. I even bought you llama mugs for Christmas, and
I love anything you get me. Look, I still have. You got me.
Oh, are we gonna play this game? Because I have something immediately that you
got a little gift bag for a birthday that you gave me at maybe even Motley's. Oh my God, I don't know when, but it's a little meditation card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I use them all the time. I mean, you know, the word might sit there for weeks on end, but I just contemplate it again. I'm like, I'm not done figuring out what this means yet.
Right. Gotta let it come clear. You got me this. It's a coaster that says calm the hell down. And can I just tell you, so it's been by my bedside table forever. And then we have a little spot up in Maine, and it was like our escape during quarantine, you know, drive directly there. We keep stuff in the freezer. I brought it with me to there, and I would put, you know, my beverages on it. And now I have it in my office. So look at
us bringing comfort.
I know. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to keep you. I also want to get all your stuff in. So I'm basically going to say, please visit at Bethany Van Delft. You can find Bethany on all the social medias, all the places, and also BethanyVanDelft.com. And I mean, you are a moth storyteller. You're now a podcaster. Well, you already were a podcaster. You also have a Nova show. I mean,
crazy.
Is there anything can't do? You're also an advocate, a parent advocate. You're a keynote speaker and an MC and just a kick-ass mom and an amazing woman.
You are all those things as well.
Well,
yes.
Thank you. I have mad love for you.
Same, and you don't have the PBS show yet, but it's coming. Like,
gosh,
it's right there. It's on deck.
Let's hope, right? I mean, you keep saying luck, but I don't think it's luck. I think it's you just work really hard and you're quality human inside and out. So I can't wait to listen to your podcast because I need news in small bites.
Your son is 15.
He's 15. So. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what do kids think at 15? They think everything's corny or no?
No, he watches the legit news. Like and he wants to talk about it, which I'm all for. Like, let's discuss it.
So, you know what he might like about the podcast is that we talk to kids his age who are doing things that, you know, like I don't like this, so I'm just going to go out and change it or find a way. Yeah, so he might like that. There are great interviews on it.
He started doing this thing that I'm so proud of that and, you know, obviously he's my stepson, you know that, but I'm telling people that may not. I feel like he's my family at the end of the day. And we live together, we're roommates. And he does this thing where he'll say, you know, I would counter by saying that, because he wants you to, right? And that's something,
wow.
That's what I do. I mean, I say that when I'm like, why don't you consider, or let me counter with this idea, and maybe you could just, these two ideas can exist side by side and help you make a choice. Yeah. So I'll tell him to listen to it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We'd love his feedback. He's like a couple years older than it, but that's cool. Like, and I think that the kids that we're talking to are pretty inspirational. So that might be interesting, you know, new people for him to follow or something. But
I can't wait to watch it. I'm excited.
Cool and listen, counter that with
he's you know, I mean, he's got all the other teenage boy things happening, and then there's these moments where I'm like, we're all going to be okay, because I mean, our kids they're smarter than we are, I think, in a lot of ways. So it's gonna be good.
Do you think Nico's gonna grow out of running up with no underwear on and going, I'm shaking my butt, I'm shaking my butt?
No, he's not. No, we have a song in our house called I don't want to see your balls hanging out. Don't want to see your balls hanging out, because and producer Matt says he still does that. So yeah, my friend Karen Hartman came up with this song for her nephew. I don't want to see your balls hanging out. So I started doing it for him years ago.
Your balls hanging out.
I don't want to see your balls hanging out all over the place. No balls. Yeah. That was a lot of sharing. Now, will you tell everyone, and I made you do this a lot early on in the pandemic, Nico would do a thing. He would walk up to you and say, Mom.
He stares off into space. Yep. Mom, I was thinking, if I was a dog whelk and I was really hungry, I don't think I could wait to drill a hole through a mussel to suck it up to eat it. I think I'd eat something
else. So he's still doing that.
I'm at a what? A dog whelk? What? What is it? A dog whelk.
A dog.
Just a kind of mollusk. Tide pools.
I mean, adorable.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when he was like 2, he would not stop being obsessed with pangolins? Do you remember that? And he was like, someone's like, what's your favorite animal? And he's like, a penguin. And I'm like, dude, so pretentious. Just say penguin. It sounds the same. And it's more like, don't be unlikable like that. And then look at all the kerfuffle a pangolin started.
I mean,
I can't tell Nico. I'll never tell him. I can't let him know.
He's before his time. Yeah, he's before his time.
Let him know this animal started this. I can't.
I mean, your children are amazing and wonderful.
And just weird as hell, which is exactly how I wanted them.
Right?
I wanted weird kids, but they do live up to it. They
do.
Yeah.
Which I think is the way you want them, right? They're like, they think for themselves, and they're badass like their mama. And their dad's pretty awesome too. We'll give him a little shout out.
He's a good man.
I love him.
You haven't seen his hair. Have you seen him lately? His beard
does he have
down to here?
Yeah, out of here.
Yeah, and his hair is like feathered back.
Are you putting like anything in it, like beard oil or pomade?
Some, and he's been doing this, and he's got like a little mustache.
Are you moving to Brooklyn and you didn't tell me?
I keep asking the same thing, right? I was like, you have to shave that for the Bronx, because they're not in Brooklyn. You got to shave that for the Bronx. And I know you watch Schitt's Creek, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I call him Mutt.
Oh, he's gorgeous and furry.
He shows up with his hair like slicked back in the morning, and it's got like a little thing in his thing. And I'm like, all right, Mutt. So here's what's on deck for today.
Let me tell you what we're up to.
Go chop some wood.
You're gonna make dream catchers, and then Oh, Bethany, I love you so much. Thank you for doing the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy you're doing this. This is like, yes, you should have a talk show.
I just need to connect with people, and I need something to keep me busy. So, and I get to connect with my friends and talk about all the things. So,
and you get to put it out there to the talk show.
That's right. Put it out
in the world.
That's right.
You need this talk show.
I like talking to people. I like meeting new people.
I can't wait to see how that goes. I love this idea.
Yes. Now, are you going to hang out or are you going to take off?
I'm going to hang out while
Yes,
I'm going to be hanging out
behind the scenes. I gotcha.
I'm going to make myself a drink tonight.
Do it. I would say also, let's just do one more plug before we say goodbye to you. You have artisanal comedy on Wednesday nights at 9:30.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, and that can be found
Wednesday, except
when you're doing the moth.
The moth, right? Which I don't have a set schedule yet, so it's every Wednesday except for one, and just pay attention to my Instagram to find out which one that is.
I was just gonna say, if people just follow your Instagram, they'll know.
That's it. They'll know.
Pick up those followers.
Yeah. When are you coming back?
Anytime you want me.
Okay.
I'm writing lots of bad comedy that I need to try.
I love it. I love this way of I mean, I miss everybody and I miss that, but I love learning a new skill, which isn't doing comedy online more like acting now?
Yes.
Because you're not connecting. You have to sell the jokes the way you wrote it. You know this joke works, so you sell it with the reaction that you expect in mind.
Exactly.
It is like acting.
You also have to have faith, right? It's like, I think when you get to a certain point and you're trying new stuff, you can always pull like a rabbit out of a hat. You can go back to like tried and true. And online, you have to just trust that it's gonna be fine. Sometimes you don't have any feedback at all, so you're just like, well, I'm gonna just keep moving. Right?
Don't know what happened.
Just keep
feel
swimming.
Like a pause feels appropriate, and then I'll move on.
Oh, I love you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for coming on. Let's throw Bethany's handle up there one more time at Bethany Van Delft. And her podcast is out tomorrow. It's called The 10 News.
The 10 News.
The 10 News. Twice a week.
And that's for news for 8 to 10 year olds. 10 minutes of news. 8 to 10 years old, 12 years old, and parental logic.
Yes.
There's a few episodes, but there's a coronavirus one. There's a face mask one. There are relevant ones for now, but there's breastfeeding and tantrums and things like that. But
so if you're breastfeeding
for now, breastfeed. Jamie didn't want to learn all that stuff that Aloha was teaching, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, I love you so much, and thank you for coming on the show. All right, Bethany again at Bethany Van Delft, and she is just so lovely and wonderful and hilarious and talented and brilliant. So please check her out. This is the time in the show where, we're going to go into our segment called How About That? And this segment, this week, we have something really, really fun planned for you on How About That? It's going to be our guest this week for this segment is Nora Panahi, and she has been featured in the Women in Comedy Festival. Take it away, Nora.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I really appreciate that intro. I know that Kelly was talking about things that we don't really want to let go of. And it's really hard not to let go of things, especially the past, the world that we remember from before the lockdown. So even though the world has changed and our lives have changed and we don't really know when they're going to go back to the way things used to be, I'd like to give this message to all of the men who are watching. Thank you so much. I go out alone in my tightest dress, not a single man blinks an eye. But when I'm out with my blondest friends, the boys go crazy and I'm wondering why. So now I'm asking my reflection, why don't I get yelled at from across the street? What could I be doing wrong that makes the men want nothing to do with me? I want you to catcall me. Make me feel pretty and skinny and small, 'cause if you don't objectify me, how do I know if I'm worth anything at all? Is this a feminist satire? Who let Virginia Woolf into my apartment? I walked into a McDonald's. A man with a mustache smiled at me. He said, "Hey baby, you look hungry." I said, "Yes, that's why I came to McDonald's." He followed me to the soda fountain and asked me for my number. He said, "My daughter lives at home and you look real smart. Would you mind reaching out to her and telling her to get a job?" So now I guess I mentor his daughter. I sat down at the bar at the comedy show next to a man buried in his glass. He turned to me and he gave me a look and said, "Baby, I just gotta ask." I thought, oh well, here we go. I guess I'm reaching for my pepper spray in my bag. He said, "You look like you might be pretty good at grammar. Would you mind reading over this email I wrote to my boss?" And I did. He really needed my help. But maybe this is a good thing. Maybe men are improving as a whole. Or maybe I'm just gross, so they're forced to see me as a person. But either way, I still want you to catcall me. And skinny and small, 'cause if you don't objectify me, how do I know if I'm worth anything at all? Without blind validation from men, I don't know. How do I know if I'm worth anything at all? Thank you so much. I have been Nora Panahi with How About That?
I mean, Nora, it's a pleasure. And you are hilarious and funny. Nora is a comedian who works all over the country and all over the Northeast, and you should check her out online. Nora, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
Good. Hi,
Yay.
Nora. Oh, thank you so much. Now, you know what's interesting about that song is that I've heard that song one other time. It is so catchy, so I could sing along with it.
Thank you. We should do a duet sometime.
You know, I don't know why you're trying to make my dreams come true, Nora. Yeah, what a wonderful song. And where can people find you online so they can
find me on the Twitter at Who Killed Nora, or on Instagram at Who Killed Nora Panahi, because that's my last name, and Panahi wouldn't fit in the Twitter handle. So
nice. All right, perfect. Will you come back on the show another time and sing another song for us?
I would love to. Absolutely.
All right. You know, you're one of my favorites, and I hope you're doing well. Be safe and healthy. Thank you so much, Nora.
Thank you, Kelly. Bye, guys.
Bye. Oh, that was fun. I just had to swap out my glasses because it's not important. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's telling you things that you need to know, and then there's things that you just don't need to know. I needed to swap them out. I just needed to. The glare was making me crazy. Let's see. All right, this is the exciting part of the show. This is where things get a little bit like, I'm working without a net. What are we going to do? We have a segment that I like to call Nice to Meet Ya! And this is a segment where our guest is actually booked by the producers at 2MB, Matt Fear, Ben Scuria. They're my talented, brilliant friends who run the 2MB channel. Nice to meet ya! Thanks, Matt. And they book the guest. I don't know the guest, or we don't think I know the guest. I'm given no information about the guest, so I can't look anything up. I can't find anything out. And we're going to meet someone new. So let's please welcome my next guest.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Vinny. Vinny, tell us how to say your last name, please.
It's Vinny Francois.
Oh, Vinny Francois.
That's right.
Oh, attaché. It's so nice to meet you.
It's so great to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. All right. So I have some standard questions that I always
Sure,
ask
please.
when I meet someone new. Where are you from?
So I'm here living in Montreal, and I was born and raised here. And that explains the name Francois, hopefully.
Oh, yes. A little bit. And do you have a craft that you that you do as your business or your line of work?
Yes, exactly. So my background is in improv comedy.
Wonderful.
And so I've been performing and teaching for many years now.
Oh, that's wonderful. And are you with a company or a theater?
So I was one of the founding directors of the Montreal Improv Theater here in Montreal.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, because of the virus, it had to close.
Oh,
so lots of booze on that one. Really, pretty sad story. But out of the ashes, I've started up Improv College, which is an online improv school.
Oh my goodness!
So that's been what I'm ending up to.
That's so amazing. So you're teaching improv, and I'm not sure how much you know about me. I'm a stand-up comedian and an improviser, and I do understand how hard and difficult of a hit we've all taken in the entertainment world with the virus. Yeah. So I love that you have decided that you're like, all right, something new, right?
Yeah.
Did you find that you had a few days or even weeks or a period of time where you allowed yourself though to feel all the feels?
Oh yeah. I mean, as it was happening, the organized, like the board of directors who ran the theater, I was one of them. We did everything we could to try to make it work, but everything was indicating that it was just simply not going to. And so as soon as we realized that was happening, it definitely was a grieving process of several weeks. I don't know that I'll ever get over the fact that it's like we started it 12 years ago and it was so amazing. It was so many incredible, magical memories. I've made lifelong friends there. Just watching so many people find their little home and community there was so heartwarming. So to have it close is pretty heartbreaking, and not just for me, but for the community. But what we've learned is that even though the building or the company doesn't exist anymore, the community and the people are still there, and so that reassures me that it still exists out there somewhere.
I would agree with that. So the theater that I was with also has had to close its doors, and so one of the things that's so inspiring to me though is I definitely took some more time than I care to admit to like feel a little down and medicate with ice cream and turkey pepperoni and cheddar. And
at the same time,
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay,
we're not here to talk. Sometimes it was all at the same time. And I think that one of the things that helps me to keep going is when I watch people do something new, right? And they try something new, because in the spirit of improv, that's everything, right? So tell me about Improv College. Is there a website that people can go to check it out?
Absolutely. It's improvcollege.ca. And good work, Matt. He's on top of things.
He's so great. Yeah, he knew.
So we have classes online. And one of the great things about doing things online is that while it's not the same thing as being in person, it does also eliminate so many barriers to the class, to an improv class that might otherwise exist. And so it's way more accessible, way more geographically unlimited. So we can have people from all over the world. And so we have teachers from Texas and from London, England, and myself and others, and on a variety. And part of the mission is to make it as inclusive and accessible as possible, because that's something that improv has traditionally had a little bit of a challenge with. And so we definitely want to keep that mission alive of like making sure as many people as possible can have it. And so one of the advantages is that physical limitations. Like our old theater was on the second floor, and so many people couldn't come and take classes or see shows. That's not the case anymore. And so that's part of our mission, is to include as many people as possible.
I love that so much. And you're absolutely right. I mean, at the core, improv is supposed to be inclusive and collaborative. And one of the things that drew me to it was that it's being inspired by other people's ideas, right? Whether that inspires you to go somewhere completely different or to get on board, right? Or either way, it's just being present and being dialed in and really actively listening to what's going on around you and just taking it and running with it. So is that something that folks would see in classes at Improv College? And you're doing shows as well?
Exactly. Yes. So so much of improv is just listening and building off of other people's ideas, and that doesn't go away online. Like maybe there's a little bit of a lag depending on people's internet connections, but generally, people are on top of things and they respond pretty snappily. And there's something to be said about not having to commute in and out of towards a club. So that's an advantage right there. And so we've been doing these classes, and we've also got a show. And so we've been doing a show every other week called The Backdrop. And again, we're just kind of leaning into the online aspect of things by having virtual backgrounds inspire our scenes. And so all of the people that we invite from all over the place, again, taking advantage of the internet, with the wonderful magical invention, to have all these people from all across Canada, the States, Europe, around the world join us and add virtual backgrounds for us all to play in. So everybody has a copy of the same virtual backgrounds, and so it kind of looks like we're all in the same place. Sure,
yeah, I love that. Now, are you also an actor? I'm assuming yes. Most improvisers are also
I do
actors.
sometimes, but I'm mostly so one of the funny things is that a lot of people tend to view improv as a stepping stone towards other things, whether it's writing or acting, whereas I've always seen improv as an end unto itself. And so this is my thing. Improv is the thing that I love to do, and I want to share with as many people as possible, which is why I can't stop teaching and talking about it. So
oh my gosh, please don't stop teaching and talking about it, because I feel like we need it more than ever right now, right? I think if people would stop and listen a little bit harder and put themselves out there and just try to learn something new, then we would be in a great place. So I'm thrilled that you're online, because that means here in the States you're accessible to us. What
Absolutely.
A delight.
And at a discount with your American dollars.
Oh, I mean, is there something to celebrate from being from America?
That's right.
Please let us in. So
No.
I swear I get COVID tested every week. Vinny is a great teacher, getting some
Thanks,
testimonials now.
I did have Matt in one of my classes.
You did?
He's a great student.
Oh, he's a brilliant improviser too. So fun to play with, and talk about someone who gets on board. He'll get on board, and then he's like, I brought my own oar. He's great. So one of the other questions I want to ask you is, do you do corporate trainings? Is that something else that you're?
Absolutely. Yes.
Talk to us about that a little bit.
You got it. Yeah. So one of the things I also do is
I just saw giant cartoon cat $ when I brought that up. You went, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because in our line of work, it's valuable to the company. Let me lobbyist. Improv is so valuable for connection in business as well as in corporate America and throughout the world. It's a way to connect with customers and clients that may not be right at your fingertips. Talk to us about your corporate training, Vinny.
Well, I mean, improv is all about life skills, and life skills are business skills, because you need to connect with one another, not just with your customers, but also within your company, because no company is run by one person. It's a team, and nothing builds team better than improv.
I love it. Yes. Oh, so, you're lovely. Great.
Oh, thank you. I do have a company called improvforprofessionals.com. Where all our corporate training is available. It's a fun project, and people give us great feedback, and I love doing it. And it's just a fun way of building personal and interpersonal skills. So
absolutely,
what's not to love?
I always say that people think that they need customer service training, and I'm like, that customers are internal and external. Yeah. Everyone's a customer. So
absolutely,
yeah, that's great. Do you then I'm going to ask 3 random questions about you that are personal. Ready?
I love it. I'm very ready. I've never been more ready.
Do you have any pets?
I have 0 pets.
0 pets.
I have 0 pets because I travel. I used to travel back when that was a thing that people could do. Yeah. So I would travel a lot. So having a pet wasn't really practical and unfair to the pet. So, but I do have 2 kids.
You do?
I do, yeah.
Now, how are they in their carriers under the plane? Are they good? Or
they don't like it. They don't like it. But I just throw a chocolate bar in there every so often.
Yeah, they're fine. They're
keeps
fine.
them quiet. And then I charge up their Nintendo Switch and they're good.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
So my eldest, my son is 15 and my daughter is 13.
I have a 15-year-old as well.
Yeah.
15-year-old.
I heard you talking about, yes.
He's lovely, and he's 15. 15's an interesting age, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, they're all. This is what someone told me when I had kids, and I think it's true. It's just that they don't get easier or harder. It just gets different.
Yeah,
and I think it's dead on. It's just different. And 15 is such a great age, and yeah, my kids are wonderful people, and it's just easy to hang out with them and get along.
I love that. That's so cool. Tell me a time in your life when you felt like you had a defining moment, and this could be tiny or it could be big.
Oh, I mean, that was starting up the improv theater 12 years ago. Wow. Very, very, very defining moment for me because I was working in software engineering and quality assurance and stuff like that. And at a certain point, I was like, I would just want to teach improv, but I've only been doing it for 10 years. And I don't know if I'm qualified. And then I saw myself and I was like, wait, 10 years is a long time to do something, I think. And so I started teaching classes and eventually working with other friends who turned it into like a space that we rented out to teach classes out of. And then we started doing shows out of it. And so, yeah, that completely changed my life and completely revolutionized how I wanted to live improv.
I mean, that is like, I love that for so many reasons, because I think that when people grow up, they get so afraid to make a change and try something new and not necessarily stick with the safe option. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm more so projecting. I know when I left my day job and did comedy full time, it was like,
it's terrifying.
I can't believe it took me this long to do it. Right. Like 6 months in, I was like, I'm scrappy. I'm fine.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yes. So that's wonderful. I mean,
people are so adaptable, and then if there's a will, there's a way to make it work. And there's always challenges, but if you love it, you love it.
That's right. And also, I think it sounds like you're doing good in the world, so that always helps, right? Keeps your feet moving.
Yeah, I mean, the real thing I get out of it is seeing other people connect over this shared love and craft, and it's magic every time.
I love that so much. The last question is kind of a silly question. Great. If you had a hall pass, who would your hall pass be?
Oh, wow. Like, okay. Who would my hall pass be? Oh my goodness. I've never.
Your laminated, like.
Yeah. A laminated hall pass. I mean, that's the only way to do a hall pass, otherwise it get real messy.
Mine is currently Dr. Fauci.
I mean, I might pick him too, to be honest.
He's yes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who doesn't love? He's
smart.
Smart as well. Smart. There's nothing sexier than smart. Let's be honest.
Smart. He's now like getting a little sassy and like talking back, which I love.
You gotta let that personality through.
Come on. He wears a little suit and he's like a little pocket smarty hottie.
I think that's my new dream, to be called a pocket smarty hottie. What a great title. Yeah, I'm just gonna copy yours because I think he's doing such amazing work, and I'm into it.
All right. I think it's great that Matt knew that we would get along and that we'd be so happy to meet each other.
I'm so thrilled.
Yes, same. It was very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you. Matt, let's pop Vinny's website back up there just real quick so people can take a look. And it's improvcollege.ca. And one of the things that I love that Vinny just said, well, I loved everything he just said, by the way. My producers are so good at picking people for me to meet. The conversations have been so much fun, and I'm just enjoying meeting new people. And that's what we all should be doing. Like, the more faces you can interact with and the more voices you can hear, I think you're just going to be a better human. And this is a great time to do it because we're all kind of stuck. one of the things that Vinny said was that, yeah, it's so true that there's no barrier now, right? So if you want to take an improv class and you want to take it with Vinny, you can, because it's online and it's as simple as that. So improvcollege.ca. Oh my gosh, this show, Lamb Chop, what did you think of the show? Did you love the show this week? I can't do the voice, but you know, I cannot. I mean, obviously I could probably do the voice. Lamb Chop, did you like the show? Did you like meeting? My hand is too big, and that is not anything that anyone has ever said to me before, by the way. I have like tiny hands. I loved it. Fantastic. All right, we're at the end of our show. This is the part of the show where it's a segment I like to call Try Harder. And this segment is where we just kind of celebrate something that I found on the internet this week that I either really liked, or I think they should try harder, or we should all try to be more like this little girl. A better place for you and for me. I mean, come on. There's no way that this little girl has any sort of hate in her heart. She is singing to two horses, and I heard a cow. I don't know where it is. I saw that video earlier this week, and I posted it on my social media, and then I wanted to share it with all of you because I live outside of Boston in a suburb, and there were some protests here this week in this little tiny town, and the police had to be called, and there was pepper spray. And one of the things that people said was, I can't believe this is happening. And I saw that video and I thought, that little girl does not have a single care in the world right now. She has love to give. That's all she has. So if we could all just go back to basics and remember that you have love to give. And if you see a random horse, sing to it. I know I would. I think that there's something pure about kids like that are just little, and she's 3 and she doesn't know anything other than love. And why don't we all try to emulate that going forward into your week. Thank you for joining me on Genuine Nonsense. Our guests this week were Bethany Van Delft, Nora Panahi, and Vinny Francois. Genuine Nonsense is every Monday night at 10 p.m. on 2MB Studios, as well as on Facebook. So you can check us out on Twitch, Facebook, or on YouTube the following day. I hope that you'll tell someone about the show. And I'm Kelly MacFarland. I'll see you next time. Bye.